Hi everyone. As you know, I'm popularly known as person who focuses on purpose and vision in Shark Tank. And at Lenskart, we truly believe in it too. And we sat and wrote down our purpose, rewrote our purpose literally just about 2 years back, and defining it as transforming the way people see and experience the world. And we also made a short form of it because it is a little lengthy, of allowing people to do more, be more. And with the same purpose, Hustlr was born, which I spoke about in my last video. And it's been phenomenal, right? I think we never thought that a glasses would mean more, but we always wanted it to mean more. From the bottom of our hearts, we wanted it to mean more. From our bottom of our hearts, we wanted people to be able to have a better life with our eyewear. And this is what Hustlr is doing to people, and the response is phenomenal. So thank you everybody. We are now today the largest selling singular eyewear model, and over 2,500 people are buying a Hustlr every day. So thanks everybody, and thanks all for hustling. As part of our vision of doing more and being more, and extending that, I wanted to start a series of learnings and conversations with some of the people I have admired who have hustled and built great stuff. And I always look up to them when I'm thinking about what I want to do with Lenskart. And one of those gentlemen I have in the room today is Aditya Ghosh. Aditya has built one of the brands which I have always looked up to, which is Indigo, and is now building what is known as the fastest growing airline startup in the world, Akasa. And so thanks Aditya for joining. And by the way, you're looking great with your Hustlers.
Thanks for this. We should do this more often.
It truly represents who you are, and I'm not sure, are you truly feeling more energy after wearing them? Or
I guess I should say yes to that. But Peyush, I think it was about a week and a half back that you put out that Instagram post around these these glasses, and funnily enough, I was in the gym at that time in the morning, and I saw that.
Which I should also go to.
Well, you run more than me, and I thought, and I sent you that message as well. It was just amazing. It was amazing to see how those lines that we wrote and we worked on about a year and a half or 2 years ago come alive into not just the purpose of the company or what people at Lenskart are trying to do, but then translating it into a product. And I think great brands are built on the foundation of consistency and authenticity. And to see the leader of the company go out there and say, this is what these words not only mean to me, but should mean to you, was amazing. It was great to see that. And
do you know examples of brands which are doing this?
Some of the greatest brands in the world, right? Let's look at Nike, for instance. When Nike, Phil Knight used to literally hustle, take shoes and put it in the boot of his car, and he would go city to city selling these shoes. And then when the Nike product started taking off, they said, our purpose is to actually make products which will be appealing to some of the most high performing athletes, right? And they became inspirational symbols. Right? And it's not by coincidence that they then became one of the most recognized shoe brands in the world, because people said, so I want to perform at my peak, and I see this athlete wearing this and doing really well, and Michael Jordan and so on and so forth, and then it inspires them to do more.
It's true, because funnily enough, we don't, when things become that, we don't realize they've actually become Nike, for example, and Jordans.
Yes.
And even, I run, and I've seen that Nike is more than running.
Yes.
Right? It's It's more than shoe. It's just more than shoes. And even people who own Jordans, right?
Yeah.
For them, it's not just a pair of shoe.
Yeah.
It's much more to them.
I mean, that line, just do it, means so much more than just going and playing a sport.
Yeah.
Similarly, I was so excited when we had come up with that phrase, do more, be more, because like you said in your opening lines, I mean, specs are meant to be beyond just being able to transforming your ability to see, which is not just vision, but transforming in the way you see the world. You see the world with better colors, with diversity of thought, and being a more inclusive place, and especially I think all of us who are relatively young, it's by accident of history that we are born in a country at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Right? Where 67% of our population is under the age of 35.
Yeah.
And everybody is hustling to see that, am I better than my previous generation? Am I better than yesterday? And my competition is not anybody else, but my competition is who I was yesterday. And I guess...
And this is India, right? At large, this is... And nothing describes India better than...
Peyush, let me ask you a question. And I remember I had asked you this question 5 years ago, I think it was.
When we met at that restaurant.
When
you had no time for me. and we made you eat vegetarian.
Amit and you made me eat a vegetarian Japanese dinner. I'll never forget that.
I remember when we raised money from one of the investors, I think it was TPG.
Yeah.
I told them, I'll only raise money from you if you make me meet Aditya Ghosh.
Well, we got Zubin to thank for that. I remember I asked you this question. And even in those days, Lenskart was really doing well. It was quite obvious that you were going to be by far the largest eyewear company in the country. And I asked you this, and I ask you this again. So then, if everything is working well, why are you so obsessed with things that could be better? Why are you so obsessed with people? And maybe people who are listening in should know that, because that's pretty.
Yeah, I think it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
At least the dreams that we have been seeing were pretty large, right? And it has always, I think you can set your own benchmarks, but it has always bothered me that why can't we build a brand which is like an example you just gave, which is truly global, truly aspirational, which means more to people. And that is why, and every time we do something and through the world, people say, yaar, bada brand bana diya hai, Lenskart bada ho gaya, and a lot of people say it, but when your benchmark is that high, you always fall short.
Yeah.
And you feel like keep going, there's so much more to do.
Yeah.
So it's to me also right now, the learning has been very high, right? And ever since we met, the first 10 years of Lenskart, we were so engrossed into just how do we make every customer happy? How do we make every customer happy? And as the organization became larger with that singular focus, now was the time to just jump to the next curve where, the organization was also becoming large. And we wanted people to also see that larger picture.
I think, Peyush, what you're setting out to do is very important, to take an organization from being just a great high-performing business to building a real institution. And institutions then last out time. I mean, there'll be a few quarters where you'll make money, you won't make money, etc. But in the long run, it brings in financial stability, it brings in customer-orientedness, it makes it employee-centric, it makes sure that you have the agility and the hustle to sway and dodge depending on what the playing field is. But most importantly, it keeps you core and tied in with what the original purpose was.
Yes.
Right.
And that's beginning to happen. Like last 2 years, I know, I don't know, and a lot of people ask me, every time I'm sitting in an investor room or a prospective investor, they ask me, Peyush, what has changed? Yeah. Lenskart used to grow at 35% year on year for first 10 years.
Yes.
And we were more customer obsessed than we could ever be. And last 2 years, suddenly we have had 2 years of rocket
60%.
70%. And sometimes even I don't have the answer for those investors. And even if I give them the answer that you will understand, a lot of them don't. And I think the only thing that has happened is that we as an organization of 10,000 people are now aligned towards that goal that you spoke about, that benchmark, which was earlier just sitting in my head.
Yeah.
Right? Ki hame banna hai wo company.
Correct.
I think now we can go to the person who is really literally testing your eyes in a Lenskart store.
Yes.
But they are also seeing the same dream.
Yes.
Right? And I think when 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people work together with that common vision, that 30-35% becomes 60%. There is no magic strategy, I feel. I have not applied.
Yeah.
Probably we have applied lesser.
Yeah. And Peyush, these things take time.
Yeah.
These things take time because of 2 or 3 different reasons. And, while you have set off on this journey, my advice to you is that be consistent with it, but don't beat yourself up too much if you don't see it happening to that last mile immediately. It will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. Right? And I'll tell you, this has been my own learning. Taking an airline which was about, I'm taking people from point A to point B, and it's on time and better sandwiches and cleaner carpets. All of those are extremely, extremely important. To then taking it to the level where, let's say at Akasa, we feel today that we are democratizing air travel. We will be efficient, we will be, on time and all of those things. But it has to mean much more, It has to mean playing a significant role in the fabric of the country, for instance. It means that you're playing a role in the life of each one of those colleagues chasing their dreams. We want to be the greenest airline in the world someday. And all of this, it takes time, but it's also work in progress, I've definitely seen one thing, and I'm now talking specifically about Lenskart. The time that we've been involved in setting up, conceptualizing first, and then setting up the Learning Academy, which is today the largest retail learning academy in the probably.
You're training some 800-900 people a month.
Yeah. And you can see the buzz, right?
Yeah.
You can see the buzz of youngsters coming in, getting that ability to chase their dreams, and gradually I think that will bring things together.
Yeah, so Academy, I think, was something, we always looked up to what you did at Indigo, and now you're doing it again at Akasa, but it's changed quite a lot, right? And we are still, and you mentioned that we should not beat ourselves up, which we often end up doing because we fail a lot.
Well, only because Peyush, leadership is a lonely role, huh? Yeah. And we should come back and talk about that. Sorry.
But Academy, I think I have really seen the sparkle in the eyes of people when they graduate from the academy.
Yeah.
Right? And we are now working on a new uniform for them, because that pride is now not just about, I think some of these intangibles, having a great uniform, brings so much pride in the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And going through school, that morning exercise, sitting in the classroom, coming and greeting. And it's a different place altogether.
Yeah.
At Lenskart, the impact of Academy is very high. Right? We pretty much fly all these people to Delhi. They stay in a PG. Obviously, when they go on the ground, they feel like, from a 5-star hotel, I've been put in this store. So we have to manage.
You're back in the trenches.
You have to still manage and learn all of that. And we have a long way to go there. I want to actually now build academy for whole of organization, not just for frontline.
Yeah.
Right? I want that all of our, because we're such a young organization, learning every day, failing every day, and our dreams are so big that I think we might as well accept that the journey will continue and we'll need to learn. And so probably, in a year from now, we would have academy serving some of our young leaders, figuring out how to have conversation with the peer member, how to manage people in this new age. Learning is the only way I'm beginning to feel.
I don't know if it happened with you, Peyush, or not, but I think it probably did. I mean, you started off small with a few people around the table, right? You did not, and then there was this fast growth of Lenskart. And just as when I was given the opportunity to come and lead an organization, I had not gone to business school, right? I didn't have.
You did a pretty good job.
What I mean by that is that sometimes your learning is lagging behind the progress, and you're kind of growing with the organization.
Was that happening to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of the times it is just trying to use common sense, observing other people, asking for help.
Well, from the outside it looked like you knew it all, and and you had no challenges.
I think we all have some kind of imposter syndrome all the time, and probably you still do. So let me ask you this, because I've seen this evolution in you, and of course the last a year of this crazy celebrity status that you have got.
Yeah, all glories fleeting.
How do you? Yeah, that's true too. What is the change you have seen in yourself? I have seen a change in you, but what is the change that you have seen in yourself in the last 1,000, 1,500 days?
A lot, right? I've lost some weight.
That's good.
So,
you're on camera. So.
Yeah, I have to maintain. When I gain weight, I'll say I've gained weight. So what to do? And now that you are gymming and I'm not gymming enough, I feel like I should do that. It was beginning to become clear to me that as the organization is growing, and I've always served at our vision backward. Like even when we were very early on, for me all that mattered always was, what does Lenskart need to be, and I will do what Lenskart needs. And now that we got to this stage, which we honestly did not anticipate we would get to, and we had now seen this bigger dream, and after we wrote that purpose, it was like कि now
अब तो मतलब सबको बोल ही दिया,
अब सबको बोल ही दिया,
अब तो करना ही पड़ेगा.
Now we बोल दिया कि we will improve your life with eyewear. It was clear that now this is a bigger dream. It requires a lot of people to come together and a lot of leaders to come together to do this. And as you know, as customer obsessed I was also very impatient guy.
Yeah.
Right. And organizations at some level is a reflection of leaders, right?
Yeah.
And we used to have this game in the last 2 years where we said that whatever we do in the top, how many days does it take for it to reach the bottom?
Yeah.
Simple example, if a meeting is starting in time at the leadership meeting, we notice that within 15 days, every meeting in the organization starts on time.
Because you lead by example.
Right? And even if you're going to the store and standing there and cleaning spectacles, then everybody goes and cleans spectacles. You don't need an SOP for that.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that has changed in leadership is that I do what I feel the organization needs to do.
Yeah.
Right? So I am literally, it's like if you want to lose weight, you have to follow some discipline. You have to make compromises. You have to reorient yourself. So, I mean, I know Samir used to say that, total transformation. I can't remember Peyush be like that. I've become so patient. Right? I have become so patient.
I know what you mean.
It is funny for people to know that Peyush has become patient. So that is one big change. I sit and have one-on-ones with people. I talk to them about their life, what is happening. That has changed. I think I have been able to sort of become a more people leader than a customer leader. Earlier, it was all about customer. Last 2 years, for me, my obsession for people has gone to another level. Like, I'm reading books, I'm figuring out, I send books to people, I want to understand and know more about them, how they're doing. I've also come to appreciate different cultures and sometimes I remember.
I guess taking the company global would have also helped with that, right?
Oh, it is another challenge and one that I'm embracing
Right.
Right now, and one I fail on every day. We have 20 nationalities now.
Yes.
At Lenskart. Like, the learning is phenomenal.
One thing is to know, kind of read 10 tips. You're landing into a country and say, okay, what are the 10 do's and don'ts in a country? That's the simple part. But actually immersing yourself in that culture, immersing yourself into what the Japanese culture is, or what the culture of Singapore is, or so on and so forth, must have actually, brought about a huge
One thing that I saw, it was very challenging, to be honest, right? And when I first went to Japan, and you can imagine what patience levels I would need to have now, right? So we have come from this company, and now we have a large company which we brought on board as partners. It was a totally different place, right? All the planning is long term. Every decision takes a lot of time. I'm not used to all of this. I was sitting in a conversation with somebody from BCG in Tokyo, and that woman said in Japanese, later said, Peyush, you can be a good Japanese leader. And I now it's working.
That's the badge of honor.
So one thing common is you need to inspire. At my level today, I need to continuously inspire people, tie them to the purpose, enable them to do more, enable them to be more, and rest sort of just happens like.
And I think a big part of it is being a better listener. Isn't it? And teaching ourselves to be a better listener as individuals and a whole organization as a listening organization. And I think the second part takes time. Of course, it's led by us as examples, but for an entire organization to become a more listening organization takes time. But it's the most amazing investment in taking company and organization cultures to that sort of institutional level. As you probably know, Peyush, I think I still spend 60-70% of my time around people, whether it is hiring somebody, to the learning bit, to conversations, to spending time around them. I really love doing that. But it can also be sometimes, at certain points, it can be very heartbreaking also. People leave, and sometimes they leave for right reasons. Sometimes in their mind they're leaving for the right reasons. And often I'm like, what? How come? First reaction is, why can't you see what I'm being able to see? And then I have to beat myself up saying, maybe I have not been able to, paint that canvas for you. So
the latter is the toughest one.
Yes.
Right? To always.
You felt that?
Oh, a lot.
Tell me what.
A lot. So, obviously some of our very old leaders, now a lot of them are becoming entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And while it feels so good that people have, these are people I have seen for the last so many years, work with them, and now they are, and I can't really stop them because their answer to them is, I'm doing more and being more. So literally it becomes really, really tough. Right, and sometimes, like, I have had those moments where it is almost like a breakup for me, right? And I know
what you mean.
I mean, मैं रूस के बैठ जाऊँगा, मैं बात भी नहीं करता कुछ दिन के लिए.
मैं तो avoid कर देता हूँ. थोड़ी देर के लिए मैं avoid कर देता हूँ.
I don't want to face you at all. And there have been times where I have really felt many times that why am I blaming this person for this? Right? What am I doing about it? Right? Because especially these heartbreaks are very difficult.
Yes.
You know, it is almost like in early days when you're breaking up with your girlfriend, you're like the most irrational person. So I have become irrational, to be honest, in the past. Not in terms of this thing, but like
taking it as a personal
like अभी आदित्य बोल रहे हो कि यार पीयूष मैं अब जा रहा हूँ तो मैं अब आपसे बात नहीं कर रहा कुछ दिन के लिए, राइट? तो आपको भी बुरा लग रहा है यार मैंने पीयूष के साथ इतना टाइम लगा दिया, पीयूष मुझसे बात ही नहीं कर रहा है. And then I have introspected, right, that this is part of the process.
And you worked upon it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing is that I have begun to realize, and it is lonely in that sense, is that the only thing that I can do is work upon myself.
Yeah.
There is so literally true. The world around will be what it is, right? And rather than trying to change everybody, I would rather do things which I can set as an example and keep doing. It's not easy, right? It is not easy. Yeah. There are like tons of examples of things that I never thought I would do. And some I actually don't even enjoy doing also, but I still do them.
And of course, look, Peyush, there are also people who would have left and they did not have the courage to say things to you in front of you. But when they are not in the same room, they'll go and say 500 things. And I've often said, you know, why didn't we have this conversation when we had the choice, right? Then we could have understood each other better. But let's leave that.
But you know, I have come to a realization that for the longest time, I used to feel that why did you not tell me this?
Exactly.
But I now have concluded that
I didn't ask him.
Yes.
I didn't ask him.
I didn't ask, or what should I do differently for them to be open enough to share with me?
You know, Peyush, what you just said, there are three things that I really want to emphasize. One is that, you know, this ability to bring masses of people together.
It's not easy, man.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
It's not easy.
And the magic portion that I have seen is when that person on the front line begins to feel that I'm not just a cog in the wheel. I'm not just turning the wrenches, but I'm part of something bigger. That's when, you know, people will be working extra hours in the store because it's Diwali time and people are wanting to buy gifts, and or like, you know, operating a flight when it is your birthday and it's your mother's birthday, and people do it happily.
And it's all magical, right?
Yeah, it is magical.
I remember in COVID, and you know, one person who I think other than you who does this really well is our Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to get out in that balcony to
do that.
And it was magical, right?
Yeah.
And I used to stay in that apartment. There were apartments all around, and everybody was walking out. There was no SOP. Right?
Yeah.
People were just doing it exactly why you said it, right? Because they could see that purpose and they could see that dream about India.
You know, and he is that one person who will even call out his own party people when he feels that the people are upset about something.
Yes.
That touch of the pulse of people is very, very good. When everybody in Lenskart feels that it's about doing more, being more, everybody on the line. Every, you know, I had this lovely story about, you know, an Akasa flight attendant the other day, which a customer wrote to me, who knew me. The flight attendant doesn't know that person knows me. You know, they run out of cash and they didn't have money and they were feeling hungry, and this flight attendant just, you know, said, you know, this is on us. It's very, very small, but it is symptomatic of that, you know, that culture that is getting built, right? Or for that matter, I remember, you know, my mother who's no more, you know, if you remember, she needed some spectacles, and we had the home team come in and just, you know, checking on things, coming and repairing it again, and you know, not even repairing it. Like my mother thought it needed repair. It actually needed one small adjustment. But I think that's what begins to build that fabric that creates great institutions.
Yes, man. I mean, to be honest, I spent 10 years. When we started Lenskart, I read somewhere Net Promoter Score. don't ask people whether they are happy or not. Ask them, are they going to refer you to someone else? And that's what matters.
Yeah.
And I remember our Net Promoter Score used to be 30. And then I used to read Amazon in US, it used to say 70, 80.
Yeah.
And it took us 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. To make that 30 reach to its current number of 72 to 75.
Every overnight success is a 10-year journey.
Yeah.
Right? It's literally that.
And now as you speak about this journey of building an institution,
Yes.
of bringing 10 and hopefully, multiples of 10,000 people together,
Yeah.
it almost feels like I have to get up every day, do the same exercise of listening to every little bit, aligning people, going on the ground, setting example, and I hope someday I can look back and look at these next 10 years and say, and that is, if I'm looking back, we have built.
And success will be built, I think both of us, you with Amit, me with Vinay, I mean, we have the opportunity of building global brands out of India. And global brands does not mean fastest growing, largest, most profitable. Hopefully wo sab hoga. But build brands where, people kind of respect it. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
No pressure.
What would make you happy? Where do you see Lenskart, right? And
look, I have, I'm biased, and I'm biased favorably because I think, you've gone off to a fantastic start. And the one thing that I say behind your back all the time, and especially in the last 2.5 years, is the heart is in the right place.
yeah,
Peyush, that is the most important thing. Progress, we are all work in progress. We as human beings, we as companies, we are all work in progress. But if the heart is in the right place, we will eventually keep doing, we'll make a few mistakes, but we'll keep doing what is better for our own people, for our customers, and then it'll go from there. So where I see Lenskart is, you're just literally just starting off on this journey. And more power to you. And like you said, all this, fame is fleeting, but it only means that we can't take it for granted.
Yes.
And we are extremely grateful
Yes.
for the recognition that we get.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, every time somebody asks me for a selfie, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
It's not a.
And I'm grateful that selfie is with you wearing a Hustlr.
I've got to get a few different colors.
Yeah.
Of this.
Yes.
I've got to get an orange Akasa color as well.
Yeah. I want to make a tricolor.
Yeah, that's cool actually.
I want to make a tricolor.
Yeah.
So, Ashwini, I've told him in the factory, they're trying some new technology where we can actually paste like this.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I want to do is I want people to be able to imprint on the hustler what their dream is.
Oh, that's fantastic. I keep talking about chasing dreams.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that will be fantastic.
Yeah.
That you can
you
personalize
can write
your
Akasa dream here, I can write my Lenskart dream here, and everybody can say that even a 7-year-old kid can go write that dream.
Oh, fabulous.
Right.
I think that's a fantastic
That
idea.
is when we'll really
personalize
this and allow people to be more.
That's awesome.
Right.
I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
This is
This was, as you know, me and Aditya can keep going, and I am known for making very long videos and criticized for it, but we enjoy these conversations which 10 years back at least I didn't understand. So if you don't understand, don't feel bad about it. You'll get it someday. These are, like Aditya said, this is part of the evolution, and our hearts are in the right place. I think India's heart is in the right place. So keep hustling, keep doing more, keep being more, and I'll come back to you with our next conversation very soon.